Hunter, do you happen to know how many spiders the average human eats in their lifetime?
I'm not sure. I've never really thought about it, but now that you say it, I'm kind of wondering how many I might have eaten.
My name is Emily Rosmus. I'm the education coordinator.
And my name's Hunter Kauffman. I'm the nature and arts educator.
And we're here at the Ned Smith Center for Nature and Art, where it is finally fall. It is finally Spooktober.
And so we only thought it was fitting that we begin to talk about some of our spooky friends, like spiders, what we're talking about today. So we're going to learn a little bit about spiders and maybe even learn why they're not so spooky.
Welcome to our Ned Talk.
So we'll talk more about myths and misconceptions about spiders later, but the first thing we need to know about spiders is that they are in fact not insects. Insects, like ants and flies, have 6 legs, whereas our spiders have 8 legs. And another thing you'll notice about spiders is they have 2 different body segments. But just because it has 8 legs doesn't mean it's a spider, because in the group of arachnids, which spiders belong to, we also have things like ticks, scorpions, and harvestmen. There is a huge diversity of spiders. In fact, around the world we can find close to 50,000 species of spiders. But here in Pennsylvania, we can find over 45 different species. And one of the first things we associate with spiders is spider webs. But I'm here to break the news to you that not all spiders spin webs. In fact, most of our spiders don't spin webs. But webs are pretty cool, and for the spiders that do spin them, we can find a lot of different types of webs. The iconic spider web that we all think of is called an orb web, made by orb weaver spiders. Some spiders construct funnels, which they leap out of to grab prey. Others, like common house spiders, string up a tangled web or a cobweb, which is an organized mess of silk to tangle prey. And you might even see sheets of web laying over grass or bushes outside. Think of them as a classic orb-shaped web, but just turned sideways for insects to fall into. All of these spider webs are made from silk, a spider's superpower. Spider silk is made from proteins made by special glands inside the spider and stored in kind of a gelatinous form. Spiders have special organs called spinnerets, and when they are ready to dispense their silk, they squeeze that gel through the spinnerets, where it then turns into a fiber that we know as spider silk. You can think of it kind of like icing going through an icing tube. Now again, not all spiders spin webs, but all spiders can produce silk, and they'll use that silk for things like tether lines to help catch them when they fall, for the hinges on trap doors to help surprise insects, and even to spin cocoons, and of course, wrap up prey.
Now let's get to debunking some of those myths you may have heard before. First, we'll talk about daddy longlegs. Daddy longlegs are usually harvestmen. Hunter mentioned them earlier when he was talking about arachnids and insects. Harvestmen are not spiders, but they are arachnids. Kind of like a butterfly is an insect, but not a beetle. So even though they might look like spiders, they're actually something completely different. While we're talking about daddy longlegs, you may have heard that they have an extremely venomous bite, but their jaws are too tiny to bite humans. This is completely false. They do have jaws that can indeed bite, but they don't have any venom at all, so that is completely false. To continue talking about bites, let's go back and talk about spider bites as well. In North America, we only have widow spiders and brown recluse spiders that actually have a venomous bite. Although you may experience swelling, redness, and should definitely seek medical help, the chances of you dying from a brown recluse or widow spider bite is almost 0. There have been no recorded deaths in North America due to one of these bites. And finally, how many spiders do you eat during your lifetime? Well, chances are none. You may have heard that the average human eats X amount of spiders while they're sleeping. Think about it for a second though. Is a spider, a tiny spider, really going to approach a big, scary human that's making a lot of sound? Yes, you might be sleeping, but your heart is still beating, you're still breathing, you might be snoring. That spider would be crazy to walk up to you, crawl across your face, and then into your mouth. So it's simply not true.
So now that we've learned a little bit about spiders, here is a super simple craft to make our own creepy crawly spiders from objects found in nature. So what we'll need for our creepy crawly spiders is hot glue, scissors, pipe cleaners, string, and a bunch of found nature objects. So step one is to find the nature objects you're going to use for your spider. Now, I found these pine cones, so I'm going to use a pine cone for an example. What you want to do next for step two is figure out how big you want your spider's legs to be. So take your pipe cleaner and maybe size it up and figure out how big your spider's legs should be. And then you can take your scissors and cut. And now that you have one spider leg, you can use that as a template to cut out your other spider legs. So now you have your 8 spider legs. Next, you want to figure out where your spider legs are going to go. If you're using a pine cone, it's pretty easy to just kind of wedge them in there until you figure out where you want to glue them in. If you're using a hickory shell, what you can do is just kind of flip the shell over, and the end of the pipe cleaner should lay in the groove in the hickory nut, and you can kind of bend your pipe cleaner so it fits right in there when you're ready to glue it. Now once you get your spider's last legs glued into place, you can let them dry for a couple minutes, and then you can start bending your spider's legs into shape. And here we have our fully formed spider legs. And one extra material, if you have it, to make your spider extra spooky is you can add eyeballs. And then if you would like to hang your spider like he's hanging from a web, you can take a length of string, cut it with your scissors, and on the pine cone you might be able to tie it around the bottom, but if not, you can glue it. If you choose to use a hickory nut or other object, it's the same procedure. Just attach your legs once you figure out their length, add a piece of string and some googly eyes if you would like. And then you can hang up your decorations.
We hope now you're more comfortable around spiders and knowing the difference between arachnids and insects.
And now we hope you can sleep at night, knowing we've covered some of the misconceptions about spiders.
Now you just have to worry about the vampire bats. Anyways, thanks for watching our Ned Talks. Happy crawling!